When a billionaire CEO met a broke single father, she expected a pitch. What she got was a choice that would destroy everything she'd built, or save her from a life that meant nothing. This is the story of Ava Reynolds and Ethan Cole. A woman who controlled empires but couldn't control her own emptiness. A man who had nothing except the one thing that mattered. Before we begin, hit that like button and drop a comment with your city name so I can see how far this story travels. Trust me, you'll want to stay until the end. Now, let's go back to where it started. The glass walls of Reynolds Capital didn't just reflect the skyline, they announced it. 47 stories of steel and ambition, the kind of building that made people tilt their heads back and wonder what it felt like to own the world. Ava Reynolds stood at her desk on the top floor, not looking at the view. She'd stopped seeing it years ago. "Ms. Reynolds, your 9:30 is here." Her assistant's voice crackled through the intercom, professional and distant, just how Ava liked it. She glanced at her watch, a slim platinum piece that cost more than most people's cars, and frowned. "He's early." 15 minutes. Should I send him in?" Ava smoothed the front of her charcoal suit jacket and moved to the window, positioning herself with her back to the door. It was a power move she'd perfected over a decade of negotiations. Let them see the empire first. Let them feel small. The door opened. She didn't turn around immediately. Let him wait. Let him take it in. The mahogany desk that could seat 8, the abstract paintings that cost 6 figures each, the silence that money bought. "Mr. Cole," she said, still facing the window. "You're early." "I know. I'm sorry." The voice caught her off guard. Not the apology, people apologized to her constantly, but the tone. No practiced smoothness, no artificial confidence. Just tired. She turned. The man standing in her doorway looked nothing like the entrepreneurs she usually met. No tailored suit, no leather portfolio. He wore dark jeans that had seen better days and a button-down shirt that was clean but wrinkled, like he'd ironed it himself and given up halfway through. His hair needed a cut. His shoes needed replacing. But his eyes, dark brown, direct, unflinching, didn't look away when she met them. "Sit," she said, gesturing to the chair across from her desk. Ethan Cole crossed the room, and she noticed the slight hitch in his stride, like he was favoring his left leg. He sat down, placed a worn folder on the desk between them, and folded his hands. "Thank you for seeing me," he said. Ava settled into her chair, Italian leather, ergonomically perfect, and opened the folder without asking permission. Inside were printed financials that should have been emailed, a business plan that looked like it had been formatted in 2010, and photographs of children in classrooms. "EduPath," she read aloud, "educational software for underserved communities." She looked up. "You're losing money." "Yes?" "No defense, no spin, just yes." 40,000 a month, she continued, scanning the numbers. "You've been bleeding capital for 8 months. You've got, 6 weeks before you can't make payroll?" 4. Ava closed the folder. "Then why are you here?" "I don't invest in sinking ships, Mr. Cole. I acquire them, strip them for parts, and move on." "I know." "You know?" "I've read about you." He leaned forward slightly. 15 acquisitions in 3 years. You're efficient, you're ruthless, and you don't waste time on lost causes." "Then we're done here." She started to stand, but he didn't move. "Miss Reynolds, I'm not asking you to save my company. I'm asking you to save what it does." Ava paused. "Explain." Ethan pulled one of the photographs from the folder and slid it across the desk. A classroom full of kids, maybe 8 or 9 years old, crowded around outdated computers. Their faces were lit up with something Ava hadn't seen in a boardroom in years. Joy. "These kids don't have access to quality education," Ethan said. "Their schools are underfunded. Their teachers are overworked. Most of them will drop out before high school because the system's already given up on them." "And your software changes that?" "It helps. We've built adaptive learning modules that meet kids where they are. We work with Title I schools, community centers, foster programs. We don't charge them. We can't. They don't have money." Ava sat back down slowly. "Then how do you make money?" "We don't. That's the problem." She almost laughed. Almost. "Mr. Cole, do you understand how business works?" "I understand how this business needs to work." His voice didn't rise, but something in it hardened. I'm not here to pitch you a unicorn startup. I'm here because I built something that matters, and I'm watching it die because I can't figure out how to make the numbers work. So you want me to what? Write you a check? Fund your charity work? I want you to acquire EduPath. Own it. Run it. Make it profitable. I know you can. Just don't kill what it's meant to do. Ava studied him. In her experience, people came to her for 3 reasons: greed, desperation, or ego. Ethan Cole didn't look greedy. He looked desperate, but not for himself. Why does this matter to you? She asked. For the first time, he hesitated. Personal reasons. Not good enough. He looked down at his hands, and she saw something flicker across his face. Pain, maybe, or memory. I have a daughter, he said quietly. She's 7. Smart as hell. Smarter than me, definitely. But when she was 5, we were homeless for 4 months. Ava blinked. Whatever she'd expected, it wasn't that. I was working 2 jobs, Ethan continued. My wife had just left. I couldn't afford rent and daycare. We lived in my car, then a shelter. Lily, my daughter, she missed 2 months of kindergarten because we didn't have a stable address. He looked up and his eyes were clear. No tears, no self-pity, just fact. When we finally got into a housing program, her school wanted to hold her back, said she was too far behind. But a teacher there, Mrs. Chen, she stayed after school 3 days a week for free and helped Lily catch up using this basic learning software. It wasn't fancy, it wasn't expensive, but it worked. And now you're trying to be Mrs. Chen, Ava said. I'm trying to make sure every kid has a Mrs. Chen, even when the actual Mrs. Chens are too overworked and underpaid to help. The office fell silent. Outside, the city hummed, traffic and construction and the endless churn of commerce. Inside, Ava Reynolds sat across from a man who'd just told her he'd been homeless, and she didn't know what to do with that information. She dealt in numbers, projections, risk assessments, not stories about kindergarten teachers and shelter beds. Your financials are a disaster, she said finally. Yes. Your business model is unsustainable. Yes. You have no path to profitability. Not yet. Then why shouldn't I just let you fail? Ethan picked up another photograph from the folder. A little girl with dark curls and bright eyes holding a homemade science fair poster about plants. Because this is Lily, he said, and if I fail her. But if you help 100,000 kids just like her. Ava took the photo. The girl was grinning, gap-toothed and proud. In the background, she could see Ethan, younger, thinner, but unmistakably him, smiling at his daughter like she'd just won the Nobel Prize. Before Ava could respond, Ethan's phone buzzed. He glanced at it, and his face went white. I'm sorry, he said, standing abruptly. I have to... It rang. He answered, and Ava watched the color drain from his face completely. What? When? How bad? His hand tightened on the phone. I'm coming. Tell her I'm coming right now. He hung up and looked at Ava, and she saw something in his expression that stopped her cold. Fear. Raw, unfiltered fear. I have to go, he said. My daughter, she's having an asthma attack. The school... He was already moving toward the door. Mr. Cole, I'm sorry. I know, but I have to go. We're not finished. He stopped at the door, his hand on the handle, and looked back at her. Ms. Reynolds, with all due respect, my daughter can't breathe. We're finished. And then he was gone. Ava sat alone in her office, the photograph of Lily Cole still in her hand, and for the first time in years, she didn't know what to do next. Her assistant's voice came through the intercom. Ms. Reynolds, your 10:15 is waiting. Ava looked at the photo, at the little girl's smile, at the father who'd walked out of a pitch meeting without a second thought because his daughter needed him. She pressed the intercom button. Cancel the rest of my morning. Ma'am? You heard me. Cancel it. She hung up, picked up her phone, and dialed her head of acquisitions. David, I need you to pull everything you can find on a company called EduPath. Financial records, user data, contracts, everything. I want it on my desk by end of day. What's the acquisition target? Ava looked at the photograph again. Just get me the information. She hung up and sat back in her chair, staring at the empty doorway where Ethan Cole had stood moments before. In 15 years of running Reynolds Capital, she'd never had someone walk out on her. People begged for her time. They rearranged their lives for 5 minutes of her attention. Ethan Cole had chosen his daughter over everything, and something about that choice wouldn't let her go. By 6 p.m., Ava had the full picture. EduPath was worse than Ethan had admitted. The company wasn't just losing money, it was hemorrhaging it. Contracts with 3 school districts about to expire, 2 developers who hadn't been paid in 6 weeks, a lease on office space that was 3 months overdue. Any rational investor would run. Ava called David back. What's the salvage value? On the company? Maybe $200,000 if we sell the software, IP, and user data. And if we keep it running? Silence. David? Ms. Reynolds, why would we keep it running? There's no revenue model. The clients can't pay. The overhead alone? I asked you a question. She heard him typing. If we restructured, brought it under our nonprofit arm, used it for tax purposes, we could probably break even. Maybe. But you'd be subsidizing education software for poor kids. That's not exactly our brand. Ava looked at the photograph of Lily, still sitting on her desk. Set up the acquisition. I want full ownership, but Ethan Cole stays on as director of programs. Salary, enough to live on, not enough to feel comfortable. You want to keep him? He knows the product. He knows the users. I don't. Ms. Reynolds, this doesn't make financial sense. I'm aware. Do it anyway. She hung up before he could argue. Her phone buzzed. A text from her friend Monica, one of the few people she'd known since college. Dinner tomorrow? Haven't seen you in weeks. Ava stared at the message. When was the last time she'd had dinner with someone that wasn't a business meeting? 3 months? 6? She typed back. Can't. Busy. The response was immediate. You're always busy. That's the problem. Ava deleted the text thread and set her phone face down on the desk. Outside, the sun was setting over the city, painting the glass towers gold and orange. Beautiful, if you noticed. Ava didn't. She left the office at 8, took her private car home to her penthouse in Chelsea, and ate leftover Thai food alone at her kitchen counter. The apartment was pristine, 4,000 square feet of marble and minimalism, decorated by someone she'd hired and never met. She couldn't remember the last time she'd cooked, couldn't remember the last time she'd laughed. Before bed, she opened her laptop and searched for Ethan Cole, daughter Asma. Nothing came up. Of course not. Why would it? She tried Ethan Cole EduPath. A LinkedIn profile appeared. Graduated from a state school with a degree in computer science. Worked at a few startups, none successful. Founded EduPath 3 years ago. Before that, a gap in his employment history. The homeless months, she realized. There were no news articles, no press releases, no TED Talks or thought leadership pieces. Ethan Cole wasn't building a personal brand. He was just trying to survive. Ava closed the laptop and lay in bed, staring at the ceiling. 30 years old, CEO of a venture capital firm worth $500 million. More money than she could spend in 3 lifetimes. And she couldn't remember the last time someone had looked at her the way Ethan looked at that photograph of his daughter, like she was the whole world. 3 days later, the acquisition was complete. Ava's lawyers had worked fast. They always did when she told them to. EduPath was now a wholly owned subsidiary of Reynolds Capital, restructured under their nonprofit division for tax purposes. Ethan Cole was scheduled to meet with her at 2 p.m. to sign the final paperwork. He arrived at 1:45. Ava's assistant showed him in, and this time he was wearing a suit. It didn't fit well. The shoulders were too broad, the pants a little too short, and she suspected he'd borrowed it. Miss Reynolds? He held out his hand. She shook it. His grip was firm, his palm rough. Working hands. Sit. He did. Ava slid the contract across the desk. You've reviewed this? My lawyer did. Well, my friend who went to law school, he said it's fair. It's more than fair, Mr. Cole. You get to keep running the programs. You get a salary. I get ownership and final say on all business decisions. I know. And you're okay with that? He looked at her, and she saw something in his expression she couldn't quite read. Ms. Reynolds, 3 days ago I thought I was going to have to shut down and tell 100,000 kids we couldn't help them anymore. Today, EduPath still exists. So yeah, I'm okay with it. He signed. Ava watched him write his name, neat, careful letters, and felt something strange in her chest. Not regret, not satisfaction, something else. "How's your daughter?" she asked. Ethan looked up, surprised. "She's okay. The inhaler worked. She was back in school the next day." "Good." He set down the pen. "Can I ask you something?" "You can ask." "Why did you do this? You could have bought the IP for nothing and walked away. Instead, you're keeping a money-losing nonprofit alive. That's not exactly your reputation." Ava stood and walked to the window. The city stretched out below her, endless and indifferent. "Maybe I'm diversifying," she said. "Into charity work? Into things that matter." She could feel him looking at her, trying to figure her out. Good luck with that. She'd stopped trying years ago. "Well," Ethan said, standing. "Thank you, I mean it. You saved something important. I saved a tax write-off. Call it whatever you want. Those kids don't care about your motivations." He headed for the door, then paused. "Ms. Reynolds, if you ever want to see what EduPath actually does, not just the numbers, but the real work, you're welcome to visit. We're running a weekend program at a community center in Brooklyn this Saturday, 10 a.m. "I don't do field trips, Mr. Cole." "I figured, but the offer stands." He left. Ava stood at the window for a long time after he was gone, watching the traffic crawl through Manhattan, and wondered what the hell she'd just done. Saturday morning, Ava woke up at 6 out of habit. She went to her home gym, ran 5 miles on the treadmill while watching financial news, showered, and made coffee. By 8 a.m., she was dressed and sitting in her living room with her laptop, reviewing acquisition targets for the coming quarter. By 9, she was restless. By 9:30, she was in the back of her car, telling her driver an address in Brooklyn she'd looked up the night before and immediately regretted. The community center was in Bed-Stuy, tucked between a laundromat and a bodega with hand-painted signs. The building was old brick, tagged with graffiti that might have been art or might have been vandalism. Ava couldn't tell. She almost told her driver to turn around, but she got out. Inside, the center smelled like industrial cleaner and old coffee. A woman at the front desk looked up from her phone, surprised. "Can I help you?" "I'm looking for Ethan Cole." "EduPath? Down the hall, last door on the right." Ava followed the sound of voices, kids' voices laughing and talking over each other. She reached the doorway and stopped. The room was full of children, maybe 20 of them, ages 6 to 12. They sat at mismatched tables with donated laptops, working through what looked like math games. Ethan moved between them, leaning over shoulders, answering questions, ruffling hair. He was smiling. It was the first time Ava had seen him smile, and it transformed his face completely, made him look younger, less tired. "Mr. C, I've finished level 5. A boy, maybe 8, held up his screen proudly. Ethan high-fived him. "Nice work, Marcus. Now try level 6. It's tricky." "I got this." Ethan laughed, an easy, unguarded sound, and moved to the next table. That's when he saw her. The smile faltered, replaced by surprise. "Miss Reynolds." Every kid in the room turned to look at her. Ava suddenly felt extremely out of place in her tailored slacks and cashmere sweater. She looked like she'd walked in from a different planet. "I was in the neighborhood," she said, which was a lie so obvious that Ethan almost smiled. "Right. Well, welcome." He gestured to the room. "This is EduPath, the real version." A little girl with braids and glasses tugged on Ethan's sleeve. "Who's that?" "This is Ms. Reynolds. She's a friend." The girl looked Ava up and down with the brutal honesty of a 7-year-old. "She looks fancy." "She is fancy," Ethan said. "Ms. Reynolds, this is Jasmine." "Hi," Jasmine said, then immediately lost interest and went back to her computer. Ava stood awkwardly in the doorway until Ethan walked over. "You want the tour?" he asked quietly. "Sure." He showed her around the small space, the donated laptops, the software dashboard that tracked each kid's progress, the shelf of books and board games for when kids needed a break. "We run this program every Saturday," Ethan explained. 2 hours. Kids can drop in, work at their own pace. Some of them are ahead of their grade level, some are years behind. The software meets them where they are. "How many centers are you in?" 12 across 3 boroughs. "We're trying to expand to the Bronx, but you don't have funding." "Yeah." They watched a boy struggle with a division problem, then figure it out and pump his fist in triumph. "You were right," Ava said. "About what?" "It matters." Ethan looked at her, and for a moment something passed between them. Understanding, maybe, or recognition. The moment broke when the door opened and a little girl ran in, out of breath. "Sorry I'm late, Daddy." Ava's heart did something strange. Lily Cole looked exactly like her photograph. Dark curls, bright eyes, gap-toothed smile. But in motion, she was pure energy. She wore light-up sneakers and a t-shirt with a cartoon dinosaur on it. "Hey, Bug." Ethan scooped her up and she wrapped her arms around his neck. "How was the sleepover?" "Maya's mom made pancakes with chocolate chips." "Sounds dangerous." "It was awesome." Lily noticed Ava and wriggled down from her father's arms. "Hi, are you a teacher?" "No," Ava said. I work with your dad." "Oh, do you know about computers?" "Some." "I'm learning Python. Want to see?" Before Ava could answer, Lily grabbed her hand and dragged her to a computer. Her small hand was sticky, from syrup, probably. And Ava didn't pull away. For the next 20 minutes, Lily showed her a simple coding game, explaining variables and loops with the confidence of someone who'd never doubted they could learn anything. Ava found herself smiling. When had she last smiled like this? Not the professional smile she gave investors, not the polite smile she gave at charity galas, an actual smile. Ethan appeared with 2 cups of coffee. "She's got you trapped, huh?" "I don't mind." He handed her a cup. It was terrible coffee, weak and bitter, but Ava drank it anyway. "Lily, give Ms. Reynolds a break. She's not used to the full Lily experience." "It's fine," Ava said, and meant it. Lily looked between them with a child's acute perception. "Are you guys friends?" "We work together," Ethan said. "But are you friends?" "That's complicated, Bug. Grown-ups always say that when the answer is no." She went back to her coding game, and Ethan and Ava stood there, holding their terrible coffee, not quite sure what to say. "She's smart," Ava said finally. "Too smart. It's terrifying." "She looks like you." "Poor kid." Ava almost laughed. Almost. The program ended at noon, and Ava stayed until every child had been picked up. She watched Ethan help pack up the laptops, joke with the community center staff, remind Marcus to practice his multiplication tables. He was good at this, not because he was trying to be, because he cared. When it was just the 3 of them left, Ethan, Lily, and Ava, Lily looked up at her father. "Can we get pizza?" "We can get pizza." "Can Miss Reynolds come?" Ava opened her mouth to decline, but Ethan spoke first. "She's probably busy, Bug." "Are you busy?" Lily asked, looking at Ava with those bright, guileless eyes. The honest answer was no. Ava had nothing planned. No meetings, no dinners, no one waiting for her. "I could eat," she said. Lily grinned. "Yes." They went to a pizza place 3 blocks away, the kind with plastic tablecloths and a broken jukebox in the corner. Lily ordered pepperoni and spent the entire meal telling Ava about her science fair project on plant photosynthesis. Ethan barely got a word in. "She's been working on it for 2 months," he said when Lily paused to take a breath. "I think she's explained chlorophyll to me 40 times. 43 times, Lily corrected. "You keep forgetting." "My mistake." Ava watched them together, the easy way they teased each other, the way Ethan cut Lily's pizza without being asked, the way Lily leaned against her father's shoulder like it was the safest place in the world. Something in Ava's chest ached. After lunch, Ethan walked her back to where her car was waiting. "Thanks for coming today," he said. "I know it's not your usual Saturday." It was different. Good different or weird different? Ava looked back at Lily, who was spinning in circles on the sidewalk, her light-up shoes flashing. "Good different," she said quietly. Ethan smiled. "You're welcome back anytime." She nodded and got in the car. As her driver pulled away, Ava looked back and saw them, Ethan and Lily, holding hands, walking down the Brooklyn street like they didn't need anything else in the world. And for the first time in years, Ava Reynolds felt something she couldn't name. Something that felt dangerously close to longing. The following Monday, Ava arrived at her office to find a handwritten note on her desk. Not an email, not a text. An actual note, on lined paper that looked like it had been torn from a kid's notebook. "Thank you for Saturday. Lily hasn't stopped talking about you. Ethan. Ava stared at it for longer than she should have. When was the last time someone had written her a note? She couldn't remember. She folded it carefully and put it in her desk drawer, then immediately felt ridiculous for doing so. Her assistant knocked and entered without waiting for permission. Your 10 o'clock with the Henderson Group is in 5 minutes. Right. Ava closed the drawer and shifted her focus back to where it belonged. The Henderson Group wanted to sell their chain of organic grocery stores. The numbers were good. The deal made sense. But all through the meeting, she kept thinking about Lily spinning on the sidewalk, her light-up shoes flashing. By Wednesday, Ava had reviewed EduPath's financials 3 times. She'd restructured the budget, identified cost-saving measures, and drafted a proposal for corporate partnerships that could actually generate revenue. She called Ethan. Ms. Reynolds? He sounded surprised. Is everything okay? I need you to come to my office tomorrow, 2 p.m. Is there a problem with the acquisition? No, just be here. She hung up before he could ask questions. The next afternoon, Ethan showed up in the same borrowed suit, looking nervous. Ava gestured to the chair across from her desk and slid a folder toward him. I've been looking at your operating model, she said. It's inefficient. I know that. You're spending too much on overhead and not enough on development. Your partnership agreements are loose. You're leaving money on the table. Ethan opened the folder and scanned the first page. His eyebrows went up. You want to charge schools? Not Title I schools, but private schools, charter schools, districts with actual budgets? Yes, a sliding scale based on their resources. The software is good enough that they'd pay for it. That's not why I built it. I know why you built it. I'm telling you how to sustain it. Ava leaned forward. You want to help more kids? You need money. You need money. You need revenue. This is revenue. Ethan read through the proposal in silence. Ava watched him process it. The slight frown of concentration, the way he chewed his bottom lip when he was thinking. What about the free programs? He asked finally. They stay free. We use revenue from paying clients to subsidize the ones who can't afford it. It's not charity. It's a business model. A business model that still helps poor kids. Yes. He looked up at her, and something in his expression softened. You've put a lot of thought into this. It's what I do. No, I mean, he gestured at the folder. This isn't just number crunching. You actually understand what we're trying to do. Ava sat back, uncomfortable with the observation. I understand inefficiency. I'm fixing it. Right, of course. But he was smiling slightly, like he didn't quite believe her. They spent the next hour going through the details. Ethan pushed back on some of the pricing. He thought it was too high. Ava explained market positioning. They compromised. It felt like the first real conversation she'd had in months. When they finished, Ethan stood to leave, then hesitated. Lily's science fair is Friday night, at her school. If you wanted to, you don't have to, but she mentioned you might want to see her project. Lily mentioned that? About 15 times. She thinks you're cool. Ava almost laughed. Cool. When was the last time anyone had called her cool? What time? 6:30, PS 142 in Crown Heights. Again, no pressure. I know you're busy. I'll see if I can make it. She knew she would. She'd already known the moment he brought it up. Ethan left, and Ava sat alone in her office, looking at the proposal they'd just revised together. His handwriting was in the margins, notes and questions in neat block letters. She traced one of the words with her finger and felt that strange ache in her chest again. Friday evening, Ava left work early, something she never did, and had her driver take her to Crown Heights. The school was a squat brick building with a fenced-in playground and a hand-painted mural of the solar system on the exterior wall. Inside, the gymnasium had been transformed into a science fair. Folding tables lined the room, each one covered with poster boards and experiments. Parents and kids crowded the aisles, talking and laughing. Ava spotted Lily immediately. She stood behind her table wearing a dress that was slightly too big and her trademark light-up sneakers, explaining her project to a pair of elderly judges. Her poster board was covered in diagrams of leaves and charts tracking plant growth. Ethan stood off to the side, arms crossed, watching his daughter with a smile that made him look about 10 years younger. Ava made her way over. Ms. Reynolds! Lily's face lit up when she saw her. You came! I told you I would. Daddy said you might be too busy. Ava glanced at Ethan, who had the decency to look embarrassed. I said maybe, he corrected. Same thing. Lily grabbed Ava's hand. Come see my project. I grew 3 plants in different light conditions and measured their chlorophyll production using... For the next 20 minutes, Lily walked Ava through every detail of her experiment. Ava found herself genuinely interested. The methodology was solid. The presentation was clear. The kid had done real work. This is impressive, Ava said when Lily finally paused for breath. You think I'll win? I think you did good science. That's better than winning. Lily considered this, then nodded seriously. That's what Daddy says too. The judges returned and announced the winners. Lily got second place in her grade level. She bounced up and down when they called her name, then ran to hug her father. I got second. You got second. Then lifted her up and spun her around, and Ava watched them with that same strange ache. After the award ceremony, they walked out together. The sun was setting, painting the street in shades of orange and pink. You hungry? Ethan asked. There's a diner near here. Nothing fancy. I don't do fancy, Ava said, which was a lie, but she wanted it to be true. The diner was exactly what Ethan had promised. Vinyl booths, laminated menus, coffee that tasted like it had been sitting on the burner for hours. Lily ordered chocolate chip pancakes for dinner. Ethan got a burger. Ava ordered a salad and immediately regretted it. You can have some of my fries, Lily offered, pushing her plate toward Ava. That's okay. No, really. Daddy always says sharing makes food taste better. Ava looked at Ethan, who shrugged. It's true. Science fact. I don't think that's how science works. Are you sure? Because Lily's the science expert here. Lily nodded solemnly. It's true. I read it. Ava took a fry. It was greasy and oversalted and absolutely perfect. They talked about the science fair, about Lily's school, about nothing important. Ethan told a story about the time Lily tried to grow plants in their apartment using a desk lamp and nearly started a fire. Lily protested that it wasn't a fire, just smoke, which Ethan argued was the beginning of a fire. Ava laughed, an actual, real laugh that came from somewhere deep in her chest. Lily looked at her, surprised. You should laugh more, she said. You look prettier when you laugh. Ava didn't know what to say to that. Lily, Ethan said quietly. That's not... It's okay, Ava interrupted. She's right. I should laugh more. After dinner, Ethan walked her to her car. Lily had fallen asleep against his shoulder, her second-place ribbon clutched in her hand. Thanks for coming, Ethan said quietly. It meant a lot to her. She did good work. She did. She's got a brain that won't quit. Scares me sometimes. Why? Because I don't know if I'm smart enough to keep up. He shifted Lily's weight slightly. Her mom was brilliant, PhD in molecular biology. Lily gets it from her. It was the first time he'd mentioned his ex-wife without Ava asking. What happened? Ava asked. If you don't mind me asking. Ethan was quiet for a long moment, looking down at his sleeping daughter. She didn't want to be a mother, he said finally. She wanted the career, the research, the prestige. Having a kid wasn't part of that plan. When Lily was 2, she got a postdoc opportunity in Switzerland. She took it. We haven't heard from her since. She just left? Signed away custody, hasn't called, hasn't written. As far as she's concerned, we don't exist. Ava felt something twist in her stomach. Anger, maybe, or disgust. I'm sorry. Don't be. Lily's better off without someone who doesn't want her. He looked up, and his eyes were hard. And I'd rather be broke and struggling than make my kid feel like she's an inconvenience. The words hit Ava harder than they should have. You're a good father, she said. I'm a broke father who can't afford to buy his kid new shoes. But I'm trying. Lily stirred in his arms, mumbling something about chlorophyll in her sleep. Ethan smiled. I should get her home. School tomorrow. Ava nodded. She got in her car and watched them walk away. Ethan carrying his daughter, her arms wrapped around his neck, the streetlights casting long shadows behind them. On the drive back to Manhattan, Ava stared out the window and thought about a woman who'd walked away from that little girl, who'd chosen a career over her own child. Ava had chosen her career over everything, too. No kids, no family, no relationships that lasted longer than a few months. She thought that made her focused, driven, successful. Sitting in the back of her car, watching the city blur past, she wondered if it just made her alone. The next 2 weeks fell into a pattern Ava didn't quite understand. Ethan would call with questions about the business restructuring. They'd meet for coffee, always at his suggestion, always at places that served terrible coffee in paper cups. Sometimes Lily was there, doing homework or reading a book while they talked. Ava started looking forward to those meetings. She told herself it was about the work, about making sure the EduPath acquisition was successful, but she knew that was a lie. One afternoon, Ethan called with a problem. One of their developers had quit without notice, and they had a major software update due in 3 days. "Can you push the deadline?" Ava asked. "We're already 2 weeks behind. The schools are expecting it." "Then hire someone." "With what money? We're still barely making payroll." Ava thought for a moment. "Send me the code." "What?" "The update. Send me what you have. I'll look at it." "Ms. Reynolds, I can't ask you to—" "You're not asking. I'm offering. Send it." That night, Ava sat in her penthouse with her laptop, reviewing code for the first time in years. She'd been a developer before business school, a good one, but she'd left that world behind when she realized management paid better. The code was messy but functional. She spent 4 hours cleaning it up, fixing bugs, optimizing the user interface. At 2 a.m., she sent it back to Ethan with notes. His response came 10 minutes later. "Holy shit, this is perfect. How did you do this?" "I used to code. Long time ago. You're full of surprises." Ava stared at that message longer than she should have, then closed her laptop and went to bed. The next day, Ethan showed up at her office unannounced. Her assistant tried to stop him, but he walked right past her desk. "Ms. Reynolds, I'm sorry, It's fine," Ava said. "Close the door." Her assistant left, looking annoyed. Ethan stood in front of her desk, holding a brown paper bag. "I brought you something," he said. He pulled out a coffee cup and a muffin. "It's from the good coffee place," he said. "Not the terrible coffee we usually get. And the muffin is blueberry. I figured you for a blueberry person." Ava stared at the offering. "Why?" "Because you stayed up until 2 a.m. fixing our code, and you didn't have to." "I was bored." "You were helping." He set the coffee and muffin on her desk. "So thank you." Ava picked up the coffee. It was still hot. "You didn't have to do this." "I know, but Lily said I should bring you something nice, and she's usually right about these things." "Lily knows about the code?" "Lily knows you helped us. She doesn't know what code is, but she knows you're good at it." He smiled. "She thinks you're basically a superhero." Ava felt her face warm. "She's 7. 7-year-olds think everyone is a superhero." "Not everyone, just the people worth looking up to." They stood there for a moment, the office silent except for the hum of the city beyond the windows. "Do you want to sit?" Ava asked. Ethan sat. She took a bite of the muffin. It was good, way better than anything she usually ate for breakfast. "Can I ask you something?" Ethan said. "Depends on the question." "Why did you really acquire EduPath? And don't say tax write-off. I know it's more than that." Ava set down the muffin and looked at him. Really looked at him. At the wrinkles around his eyes from smiling too much, the calluses on his hands, the way his suit still didn't quite fit. "Because you walked out of my office," she said finally. "What?" "When Lily had the asthma attack, you walked out. You didn't apologize, you didn't negotiate, you just left." She paused. "In 15 years of running this company, no one has ever chosen something over a meeting with me. And you chose your daughter without a second thought." Ethan frowned. "Of course I did." She couldn't breathe. "Exactly. Of course you did. Like it wasn't even a question." Ava looked down at her hands. "I don't know anyone who does that, who puts someone else first like it's the most natural thing in the world. You're saying you bought my company because I left a meeting?" "I'm saying I bought your company because I wanted to know what it felt like to be that sure about something." The words hung in the air between them. Ethan leaned back in his chair, processing. "Are you sure about it now?" he asked quietly. "About the acquisition?" "About anything." Ava didn't answer. She couldn't. Ethan stood. "I should let you get back to work." "Ethan," he paused at the door. "Thank you for the coffee," Ava said. He smiled. "Anytime." After he left, Ava sat alone in her office, the half-eaten muffin on her desk, and realized she'd called him by his first name. Not Mr. Cole. Ethan. When had that happened? That weekend, Lily's school had a parent-teacher night. Ethan texted Ava about it. Lily wants to know if you're coming. I told her you're probably busy, but she insisted I ask. Ava looked at her calendar. She had plans, a networking dinner with potential investors, important people, good contacts. She canceled it. The school cafeteria smelled like cleaning solution and old pizza. Parents crowded around tiny desks, looking at their kids' artwork and assignments. Ava felt wildly out of place in her designer jeans and silk blouse. Lily spotted her immediately and came running. You came! I came. Come see my desk. I have a drawing of you. Ava let herself be pulled across the cafeteria to a tiny desk covered in crayon drawings. And there, pinned to the wall, was a picture of 3 people. A man, a woman, and a little girl. The man had messy hair and was smiling. The girl had curly hair and light-up shoes. The woman had long, dark hair and was holding the little girl's hand. That's us, Lily said proudly. That's you and me and Daddy. Ava's throat tightened. It's beautiful, she managed. You can have it if you want. I can make another one. I'd like that. Lily carefully unpinned the drawing and handed it to Ava like it was precious, which Ava realized it was. Ethan appeared beside them, holding 2 cups of punch that looked radioactive. They only had red or blue. I got you red. How did you know I'd be here? Lily was very confident. He handed her the cup. And she's usually right about these things. They wandered through the cafeteria together, looking at projects and talking to teachers. Mrs. Morrison, Lily's teacher, pulled Ethan aside. Mr. Cole, I wanted to tell you, Lily's reading level has jumped 2 grades in the last month. Whatever you're doing at home, keep doing it. She's been using the EduPath software, Ethan said, and she's just naturally curious. Well, she's thriving. You should be very proud. After Mrs. Morrison left, Ethan turned to Ava. Did you hear that? 2 grade levels. Your software works. Our software, he corrected. You own it now, remember? Right. They found Lily showing her science fair ribbon to a group of friends. She was explaining photosynthesis to them with the enthusiasm of a college professor. She's going to be a scientist, Ava said, or a teacher, or a CEO, or all 3. Ethan watched his daughter with obvious pride. She can be anything she wants. Because you made sure of it. He looked at Ava, surprised by the intensity in her voice. That's just what you do when you love someone, he said simply. Ava thought about her own childhood, boarding schools and nannies, parents who were too busy building their own careers to notice she existed. She'd told herself it made her independent, strong. Looking at Lily now, surrounded by friends and possibilities, Ava wondered what she'd missed. After the event, they walked out together into the cool night air. Lily was tired, leaning against her father's side. Ice cream? Ethan suggested. It's 8:30, Ava pointed out. So? So it's a school night. Ms. Reynolds, are you telling me how to parent? She realized he was teasing her. No, because if I want to get my kid ice cream on a school night, I'm getting my kid ice cream. Lily perked up. Ice cream? They went to a place 2 blocks away, one of those old-fashioned shops with metal chairs and a chalkboard menu. Lily got a cone with 3 scoops that was taller than her head. Ethan got coffee. Ava got vanilla. Vanilla? Lily looked disappointed. That's boring. I like vanilla, but there's cookie dough and mint chip and brownie batter and… Lily, Ethan interrupted gently, let Ms. Reynolds like what she likes. But vanilla is what people get when they can't decide. Maybe I decided on vanilla, Ava said. Did you? Ava looked at her boring vanilla ice cream and realized Lily was right. She'd ordered it because it was safe, predictable, the same thing she always ordered. No, she admitted. I didn't. Want to try mine? Lily held out her cone. Ava took a small bite. It was chocolate and peanut butter and way too sweet. Better than vanilla? Lily asked hopefully. Different than vanilla. That's not an answer. It's my answer. Lily considered this, then nodded like Ava had passed some kind of test. On the walk back to the school parking lot, Lily held both their hands. Ethan's on one side, Ava's on the other. She swung between them, her feet occasionally leaving the ground. Again, she squealed. They swung her. She laughed. The sound echoed off the buildings. When they reached Ava's car, Lily hugged her goodbye. A real hug, tight and unselfconscious. Thanks for coming, she said into Ava's shirt. Thanks for inviting me. Ethan walked Ava to her car while Lily waited on the sidewalk, playing with her light-up shoes. She really likes you, he said. I really like her. Yeah, I can tell. He paused. Can I ask you something? Why do you keep coming to these things? The science fair, parent night, Saturday programs. You're busy, you've got a whole company to run, but you keep showing up. Ava looked over at Lily, who was now making up a song about ice cream. Because when I'm with you two, I feel like a person instead of a position. Ethan went very still. Ava, I should go, she said quickly. Work tomorrow. She got in her car before he could respond. On the drive home, Ava realized he'd called her Ava. Not Ms. Reynolds, just Ava. And she'd let him. The drawing Lily had given her sat on the passenger seat. Ava picked it up at a red light and looked at it. The three stick figures holding hands, smiling their crayon smiles. She'd never had a kid draw her before. Never had anyone look at her and see someone worth putting on paper. When she got home, she didn't put the drawing in a drawer. She put it on her refrigerator, held up by a magnet shaped like the Empire State Building. Then she stood in her pristine kitchen and cried for reasons she couldn't quite name. The next morning, Ava woke up with swollen eyes and a headache. She'd cried herself to sleep, something she hadn't done since she was a teenager. She took a long shower, put on makeup to cover the evidence, and went to work like nothing had happened. But something had changed. She caught herself staring at Lily's drawing throughout the day. She'd taken a photo of it on her phone, and every time she unlocked the screen, there it was. 3 stick figures holding hands. Her assistant noticed. Everything okay, Miss Reynolds? Fine. Why? You've been distracted all morning. You missed the Henderson callback. Ava blinked. She'd completely forgotten about Henderson, a $15 million deal, and she'd forgotten. Reschedule it. For when? I don't care, just reschedule. Her assistant left, visibly concerned. Ava didn't blame her. In 15 years, she'd never missed a callback. Her phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. Lily wants to know if you can come to her dance recital next month. I told her to ask you herself, but she's shy about it. Says you might say no if she asks. Ava stared at the message. A dance recital. She'd never been to a dance recital in her life. When is it? May 17th, 7 p.m. It's at the community center. She's a flower in the spring show. Very serious role. Ava checked her calendar. She had a board meeting that evening, one she'd scheduled 6 months ago. She typed back, I'll be there. The response came immediately. You sure? Lily will never let you forget it if you promise and don't show. I'll be there. Okay. Fair warning, it's going to be chaos. 50 kids under 10 doing choreography they learned in 3 weeks. But Lily's excited. Ava smiled despite herself. I'm looking forward to it. She sent the message, then moved the board meeting. Her CFO was going to kill her. Over the next few weeks, Ava found herself pulled deeper into Ethan and Lily's world. Saturday mornings at the community center became routine. Ethan would save her terrible coffee. Lily would show her new coding projects or science experiments or whatever had captured her attention that week. Ava started bringing supplies, new laptops when the old ones broke, books for the reading corner, snacks because the kids were always hungry. Ethan protested at first. You don't have to do this. I know. Ava, seriously, this is too much. It's not charity. It's an investment. In what? She looked at the kids crowded around the computers, their faces bright with concentration. In them. Ethan didn't argue after that. One Saturday, Lily asked Ava to help her with a coding project. She was trying to build a simple game, something with a character that jumped over obstacles. I can't get the jump right, Lily said, frustrated. It's too floaty. Ava pulled up a chair and looked at the code. You need to adjust the gravity variable. See here? You've got it set to 1. Try 5. Lily made the change and tested it. The character jumped with a satisfying arc. It works. Physics, Ava said. Everything falls at the same rate. Unless you're on the moon. True. Want to make a moon level? They spent the next hour building a moon level with lower gravity. Lily was a fast learner. She picked up concepts quickly and asked smart questions. Ava found herself genuinely enjoying the work. Ethan watched them from across the room, and when Ava looked up, he was smiling. "What?" she asked. "Nothing. You're just good with her. She makes it easy." "Not everyone thinks so. Her teacher says she asks too many questions." "Her teacher is wrong." Lily looked up from the computer. "Miss Morrison said that?" "She said you're curious," Ethan corrected quickly, "which is good." "That's not what you just said." "I was paraphrasing." Lily looked at Ava. "What did he really say?" Ava glanced at Ethan, who was shaking his head slightly. "He said you ask good questions," Ava said. "And you should keep asking them." After the program ended, the three of them walked to a nearby park. It was one of those perfect spring days, warm sun, light breeze, the kind of weather that made even New York feel gentle. Lily ran ahead to the playground. Ethan and Ava sat on a bench, watching her climb the jungle gym with the fearlessness of someone who hadn't learned to be afraid yet. "Can I ask you something?" Ethan said. "You always ask if you can ask something. Just ask." "Why don't you have kids?" The question caught Ava off guard. "That's personal." "I know, you don't have to answer." But she found herself wanting to answer. "I never thought about it," she said finally. "I was busy building a career. Kids didn't fit into the plan. And now? Now I'm 30 and single and running a company. Not exactly ideal timing." "There's no ideal timing for kids, trust me." Ava watched Lily hang upside down from the monkey bars, her hair falling toward the ground. "Do you ever regret it?" she asked. "Having her so young, doing it alone?" "Never." He said it without hesitation. "Not once. She's the best thing that ever happened to me. Even when things were awful, sleeping in the car, eating ramen for every meal, she made it worth it." "How?" "Because every morning she'd wake up and smile at me like I was her whole world. And I realized I was. I was her whole world, and that meant something." He paused. "I couldn't give her much, but I could give her that." Ava felt the ache in her chest again. "You're a good father," she said quietly. "I'm a broke father who got lucky. There's a difference." "No, there isn't." Ethan looked at her, and something passed between them. Something Ava didn't have words for. Lily ran over, breathless and grass-stained. "Can we get ice cream?" "You had ice cream 2 days ago," Ethan said. "So? So you can't have ice cream every time we hang out." "Why not?" "Because I'm trying to be a responsible parent." Lily turned to Ava. "Do you think I should get ice cream?" Ava looked at Ethan, who was clearly fighting a smile. "I think your dad makes the rules." "But what do you think?" "I think ice cream twice in 1 week won't kill anyone." "See?" Lily grabbed her father's hand. "Ava said yes. Ava said it won't kill you. That's not the same as yes. Close enough. Let's go." They went for ice cream again. This time, Ava ordered cookie dough. "Look at you," Ethan said, "living dangerously." "It's just ice cream." "It's character development." Ava laughed, and Lily grinned like she'd won something. On the walk back, Lily held Ava's hand. It was casual, automatic, the way kids just grabbed onto adults they trusted. Ava looked down at the small hand in hers and felt something shift. She didn't want to let go. The dance recital arrived faster than Ava expected. She left work at 5, unheard of, and drove to the community center in Crown Heights. The parking lot was packed with minivans and SUVs. Ava's sleek black sedan looked absurdly out of place. Inside, the auditorium was chaos. Parents jockeying for seats, kids in costumes running everywhere, harried teachers trying to maintain order. Ava spotted Ethan in the 3rd row and made her way over. "You came," he said, standing. "I said I would." "I know, but I thought maybe—" He trailed off. "I'm glad you're here." He'd saved her a seat. She sat down and he handed her a program. "Lily's in Act 2. She's flower number 7. Very important role." "You said that already?" "I'm nervous. She's been practicing for weeks." "She'll be great. You haven't seen her dance." The lights dimmed and the show started. The first act was a group of older kids doing a hip-hop routine. They were surprisingly good. The second act was the flowers. 15 little girls in green leotards and petal headbands filed onto the stage. Lily was in the back row, her face serious with concentration. The music started, something classical and overly dramatic. The girls swayed and twirled and tried to remember their choreography. Lily was half a beat behind everyone else the entire time. Ava glanced at Ethan. He was leaning forward, hands clasped, watching his daughter like she was performing at Carnegie Hall. When the dance ended, he stood up and applauded like she'd just won an Olympic medal. Ava stood too. After the recital, they waited in the lobby for Lily. She came running out, still in her costume, and launched herself at her father. "Did you see me?" "I saw you. You were amazing." "I messed up the turn." "I didn't notice." "Liar." Ethan laughed and kissed the top of her head. "Okay, you messed up the turn, but you recovered. That's what matters." Lily turned to Ava. "What did you think?" "I think you were very focused. That's code for you messed up, isn't it?" "That's code for you did your best." Lily considered this, then nodded. "Okay, I can live with that." They went to dinner at the same diner they always went to. Ava was starting to recognize the waitress, starting to know what she'd order before she looked at the menu. It felt comfortable, familiar. It felt like something she could get used to. After they ate, Ethan walked Ava to her car while Lily stayed inside finishing her milkshake. "Thanks for coming," he said. "Really, it meant a lot." "To Lily?" "To both of us." Ava leaned against her car, suddenly unsure what to do with her hands. "Ethan, can I ask you something?" "Always." "What are we doing?" He frowned. "What do you mean?" "This. You and me and Lily, the ice cream and the science fairs and the dance recitals. What is this?" Ethan was quiet for a long moment. "I don't know," he said finally. "What do you want it to be?" "I don't know either." "Ava, I'm not good at this," she interrupted. "I don't do relationships. I don't do families. I work. That's what I'm good at." "You're good at this too." "How do you know?" "Because Lily asks about you every day. Because she drew you into our family before I even realized what was happening. Because when you're with us, you smile. Real smiles, not the professional ones you probably use at work." Ava looked away. "This is complicated." "Yeah, it is." "I don't know what I'm doing." "Neither do I." He stepped closer. "But I know that when you're not around, I miss you. And Lily misses you, and maybe that means something. Maybe it means we're getting too attached. Is that so bad?" Before Ava could answer, Lily came running out of the diner. "Daddy, I'm done. Can we go home?" Ethan looked at Ava, waiting for an answer she didn't have. "We should talk about this," he said quietly. "Yeah, we should." But they didn't. Not that night. Ava drove home in silence, her mind racing. She was 30 years old. She'd built a company from nothing. She'd made millions. She'd proven everyone who doubted her wrong. And now she was terrified of a 7-year-old and her single father. Over the next week, Ava threw herself into work. She took meetings she'd been putting off. She stayed late at the office. She avoided Ethan's calls. It didn't help. She kept thinking about Lily's hand in hers, about Ethan's smile, about the way they made her feel like she belonged somewhere. Her friend Monica finally cornered her at a networking event. "Okay, what's going on with you?" "Nothing." "You've been weird for weeks, distracted. You actually smiled at someone earlier. A genuine smile." "It was disturbing." Ava sipped her wine. "I'm fine." "You're lying. Talk to me." Ava looked around the event, all these people in expensive clothes making small talk they didn't mean. She used to love this, the networking, the positioning, the game. Now it felt empty. "I think I'm in trouble," she said quietly. "What kind of trouble?" "The kind where I'm falling for someone I have no business falling for." Monica's eyes widened. "You're seeing someone?" "It's complicated. It's always complicated with you." "Who is he?" "A single father, broke, running a nonprofit I acquired, has a 7-year-old daughter who's smarter than both of us combined." "And you're falling for him?" "I don't know. Maybe, probably." Ava set down her wine glass. "I'm terrified." "Of what?" "Of wanting something I might not be good at." Monica laughed. "Ava, you're good at everything you try." "It's annoying." "Not this. I don't know how to be in someone's life. I don't know how to be around a kid. I don't know what I'm doing." "So, figure it out. You always do." "What if I can't? What if I screw it up? Then you screw it up. That's life. Monica looked at her seriously. But you've been alone for as long as I've known you. If this guy and his kid make you happy, maybe that's worth the risk. Ava wanted to believe her. She really did. That Saturday, Ava showed up at the community center like always. Ethan was there setting up laptops. He looked tired. "Hey," he said when he saw her. "Hey, you've been quiet this week?" "I've been busy." "Right, busy." He didn't push, which somehow made it worse. Lily ran over and hugged Ava around the waist. "I missed you. I saw you last week. That's forever." She grabbed Ava's hand. "Come see what I'm working on. I made a game where you have to save flowers from robots." Ava let herself be pulled away, grateful for the distraction. They spent the morning like usual. Kids working on projects, Ethan and Ava helping, terrible coffee getting cold in paper cups. It should have felt normal, but there was tension. Every time Ava looked at Ethan, he was already looking at her. Every time their hands accidentally brushed, she felt it like electricity. After the program ended, Lily went to the bathroom. Ethan and Ava stood alone in the classroom, packing up laptops. "We need to talk," Ethan said. "I know. You've been avoiding me." "I haven't." "Ava, you've been avoiding me." She stopped packing. "Okay. Yes, I have." "Why?" "Because I don't know what this is. I don't know what I'm doing, and that scares me." Ethan set down the laptop he was holding. "You think I'm not scared? I've got a kid. I can't just date casually. Anyone I bring into our life, Lily gets attached to. And if it doesn't work out, she's the one who gets hurt." "Exactly. So maybe we should stop before that happens." "Is that what you want?" Ava looked at him, really looked at him, at the exhaustion in his eyes, at the way he was holding himself together through sheer will. "I don't know what I want." "Yes, you do. You're just afraid to say it. Don't tell me what I feel." "Then tell me yourself." He stepped closer. "Do you have feelings for me?" Ava's heart was racing. "This isn't appropriate. You work for me." That's not an answer. "Ethan, do you have feelings for me?" "Yes." The word came out before she could stop it. "Yes, okay? I have feelings for you and for Lily, and it's terrifying because I don't do this. I don't do families and feelings and complications. Why not? Because what if I'm bad at it? What if I'm like my parents, cold and distant and too focused on work to actually care about the people around me? What if Lily gets attached and I let her down? What if you get attached and I—" Ethan kissed her. It wasn't gentle or romantic or any of the things Ava had read about in books. It was desperate and messy and real. She kissed him back. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. "What was that?" Ava whispered. "That was me shutting you up before you could talk yourself out of this. This is a bad idea." "Probably." "We should stop." "Okay." But he didn't move away. Neither did she. "Ava, listen to me. You're not your parents. I've seen you with Lily. I've seen the way you look at her, the way you help her with her projects, the way you showed up to her dance recital even though she messed up every step. That's not someone who doesn't care. But what if nothing? Stop catastrophizing and just be here. With me. With us." Ava wanted to. She wanted it so badly it hurt. "I don't know how." "Then learn. We'll figure it out together." The bathroom door opened and Lily came running back. "What are you guys doing?" They stepped apart quickly. "Packing," Ethan said. "You weren't packing. You were standing really close." "We were talking." "About what?" Ava and Ethan looked at each other. "Grown-up stuff," Ethan said finally. Lily rolled her eyes. "That's what adults always say when they don't want to tell you something." "That's because it's true." "Whatever. Can we get lunch?" They went to the diner. Lily talked non-stop about her game. Ethan responded on autopilot. Ava sat quietly, trying to process what had just happened. Ethan had kissed her. She'd kissed him back. And now they were sitting in a diner like nothing had changed. But everything had changed. After lunch, Ethan walked Ava to her car again. Lily was ahead of them, skipping down the sidewalk. "About earlier," Ethan started. "We don't have to talk about it." "I think we do." "Ethan, I meant what I said. I don't know how to do this. And I meant what I said. We'll figure it out. What if we can't? He looked at her, and his expression was so open it made her chest hurt. Then at least we tried. That's more than most people can say. Lily called from up ahead. Come on, I want to show Ava my new rocks. You collect rocks? Ava asked. She collects everything, Ethan said. Rocks, leaves, bottle caps. Our apartment looks like a natural history museum. They walked back together, Lily between them, holding both their hands. And for a moment, Ava let herself imagine this was her life. Not the penthouse and the board meetings and the endless climb toward more money and more success. This. Saturday afternoons and terrible diners and a little girl who collected rocks. It was terrifying. It was also the happiest she'd felt in years. That night, alone in her apartment, Ava stood in front of Lily's drawing on her refrigerator. 3 stick figures holding hands. She traced the outline of the woman, the one Lily had drawn with long dark hair and a smile. Was that really her? Could she be that person? Her phone buzzed, a text from Ethan. Lily wants to know if you can come to dinner next Friday. I'm making spaghetti. Well, I'm boiling spaghetti and opening a jar of sauce, but still. Ava stared at the message for a long time. This was a choice. She could say yes and let herself fall deeper into this strange, complicated thing they were building. Or she could say no and protect herself from the possibility of failure. She thought about what Monica had said, about what Ethan had said, about the way Lily's hand felt in hers. She typed back, "What time?" The response was immediate, 6:30. Fair warning, our apartment is small and kind of a mess. Also, Lily will probably make you play approximately 12 rounds of whatever board game she's currently obsessed with. I can handle it. We'll see about that. Ava smiled and set down her phone. Friday. Dinner at Ethan's apartment. With Lily. It was just dinner, just spaghetti from a jar and whatever chaos came with a 7-year-old. But it felt like more than that. It felt like stepping off a cliff and hoping someone would catch her. And for the first time in her life, Ava Reynolds decided to jump. Friday came too fast and not fast enough. Ava changed outfits 3 times before settling on jeans and a simple sweater, casual enough not to look like she was trying too hard, nice enough not to look like she'd given up. She stared at herself in the mirror and barely recognized the woman looking back. When had she last been nervous about dinner? The address Ethan had given her was in Sunset Park, a neighborhood Ava had driven through but never stopped in. His building was a 4-story walk-up with peeling paint and a front door that didn't quite close all the way. She climbed to the 3rd floor, her heart beating harder with each step. She knocked. The door flew open immediately. Lily stood there in pajamas covered in dinosaurs, her hair wet from a recent bath. "You're here!" She grabbed Ava's hand and pulled her inside. "Come see my room. I cleaned it and everything." "Lily, let her breathe," Ethan called from what Ava assumed was the kitchen. "She can breathe in my room." The apartment was exactly what Ethan had warned, small and cluttered, but clean. The living room was barely big enough for a couch and a coffee table covered in library books and coloring supplies. The walls were decorated with Lily's artwork and photographs of the 2 of them at various ages. Lily's room was the size of a closet. A twin bed took up most of the space, covered in stuffed animals. A small desk was pushed against one wall, overflowing with rocks and leaves and other treasures. Glow-in-the-dark stars covered the ceiling. "This is where I sleep," Lily announced proudly. "And this is Mr. Whiskers and Captain Fluff and Professor Snuggles." She pointed to various stuffed animals. "Those are very distinguished names. Professor Snuggles has a PhD in hugging." Ava found herself smiling. "Important field of study." Ethan appeared in the doorway, wearing an apron that said "Kiss the Cook" with a cartoon chef on it. His hair was messy, and there was a spot of tomato sauce on his cheek. "Dinner's almost ready. Lily, let Ava escape." "I'm not holding her hostage." "You kind of are." Lily looked at Ava. "Am I?" "I'm a willing hostage." "See?" Lily grinned triumphantly at her father. Ethan shook his head, but he was smiling. 5 minutes. "Then you need to set the table." He disappeared back into the kitchen. Lily showed Ava her rock collection. Each one had a story about where she'd found it and why it was special. A smooth black one from Prospect Park, a sparkly one from the beach, a weird lumpy one that Lily swore looked like a dragon. "Do you collect anything?" Lily asked. Ava thought about her apartment, the art she'd bought because designers told her to, the books she'd never read, the expensive things that meant nothing. No, she said honestly. I don't. You should. Collecting things is fun. You remember where you were and who you were with. Out of the mouths of 7-year-olds. They went to the kitchen, which was barely big enough for 2 people, let alone 3. Ethan was draining pasta over the sink, steam fogging up his glasses. Can I help? Ava asked. You can sit. Guest privileges. I don't mind helping. Ava, sit. She sat at the small table pushed against the wall. Lily climbed onto a chair and started pulling out plates from a cabinet, handing them to her father one by one. They had a rhythm, these two, a practiced dance of dinner preparation. Lily knew without being told where everything went. Ethan knew without asking that she'd want Parmesan cheese and not too much sauce. Ava watched them and felt like an intruder. Wine? Ethan asked, pulling a bottle from the fridge. It's cheap, but it's red. Sure. He poured 2 glasses and handed her one. Their fingers brushed. Neither of them pulled away immediately. Dinner was simple: spaghetti with jarred sauce, garlic bread from the frozen section, a salad that was mostly iceberg lettuce. Nothing fancy, nothing impressive. It was perfect. Lily talked nonstop through the meal, telling Ava about her week at school, about the boy who ate paste during art class, about the substitute teacher who let them have extra recess, about the library book she'd checked out on space exploration. Ethan interjected occasionally with corrections or questions, but mostly he just listened, his expression soft with affection. Ava contributed when she could, but mostly she just existed in the moment. The warm apartment, the cheap wine, the sound of Lily's laughter. This was what normal people did. This was what family felt like. And it terrified her how much she wanted it. After dinner, Lily insisted on showing Ava her new board game, something involving dragons and treasure that had rules so complicated Ava got lost within the first 5 minutes. No, you can't move there, Lily explained patiently. That's a lava square. You have to go around. There are too many rules. There are exactly the right amount of rules. You're just not paying attention. Ethan, washing dishes in the kitchen, laughed. She's got you there. They played 3 rounds. Lily won all of them. You're really bad at this, Lily said, not unkindly. I'm aware. Do you want to play again? You might get better. I think I've lost enough for one night. Lily started packing up the game. That's okay. Not everyone is good at everything. Daddy's terrible at cooking. I can hear you, Ethan called. It's true. You burned water last week. I didn't burn water. I forgot water was boiling. Same thing. Ava helped put the game pieces back in the box. Lily yawned hugely. Bedtime bug, Ethan said, coming out of the kitchen. I'm not tired. You just yawned. That was a thinking yawn. A thinking yawn. Yes. Different from a tired yawn. Ethan looked at Ava. See what I deal with? I think she makes good points. You're not helping. Lily went to brush her teeth, and Ethan sat down on the couch next to Ava, close enough that their knees touched. Sorry about dinner, he said. I know it wasn't exactly... It was great. It was spaghetti from a jar. It was perfect. He looked at her, searching her face for sarcasm, finding none. You really mean that? I do. Lily came back, climbed onto the couch between them, and leaned against Ava. Will you read me a story? Lily, Ava doesn't have to. I'd like to, Ava interrupted. Lily handed her a book about a girl who built a rocket ship to visit the moon. They all squeezed onto Lily's small bed, Ethan on one side, Ava on the other, Lily in the middle. Ava read, and Lily's eyes grew heavy. By the last page, she was asleep, her head resting on Ava's shoulder. She never falls asleep that fast, Ethan whispered. Maybe I'm boring. Maybe she feels safe with you. Ava looked down at the sleeping child, at the complete trust in that small face. We should put her to bed, she whispered. Together, they tucked Lily in, pulling the covers up to her chin. Ethan kissed her forehead. Without thinking, Ava did too. They tiptoed out of the room, leaving the door cracked open. Back in the living room, they stood awkwardly in the small space. More wine? Ethan offered. Sure. He refilled their glasses and they sat on the couch. The apartment was quiet except for the distant sound of traffic and someone's TV playing through the thin walls. "Thank you for coming," Ethan said. "Thank you for inviting me." Lily was so excited. She changed her outfit 4 times. "So did I," he smiled. "Yeah? I didn't know what to wear to dinner with a 7-year-old. You did fine. She loves you." The words hung in the air. "Ethan, I know. It's complicated, but it's true. She talks about you constantly. Ava this, Ava that. She asked me yesterday if you were going to be her mom." Ava's heart stopped. "What did you tell her?" "I told her that grown-up relationships are complicated and we're figuring things out." "And what did she say?" "She said that's what grown-ups always say when the answer is no." He set down his wine glass. "But I don't want the answer to be no." Ava stood up, suddenly needing space. She walked to the window and looked out at the Brooklyn street below. A bodega was still open on the corner. An old man walked his dog. "I don't know how to be what you need," she said quietly. "What do you think I need?" "Someone stable, someone who knows how to be in a family, someone who won't screw up your kid." Ethan came up behind her, close but not touching. "You know what I need? Someone who shows up, someone who cares, someone who reads bedtime stories and loses at board games and makes my daughter smile." He paused. "You're already doing all of that. For now. But what happens when it gets hard? When the novelty wears off, when I have to choose between a board meeting and a dance recital? Then you choose. And maybe sometimes you choose wrong. That's life. But Lily is tougher than you think, and she'd rather have you in her life imperfectly than not have you at all." Ava turned to face him. They were inches apart. "What do you want from this?" she asked. "Honestly, I want to see where it goes. I want to have dinner together. I want Lily to have someone else who cares about her. I want to fall asleep thinking about you and wake up wanting to call you." "That sounds like a relationship." "Yeah, it does. I'm not good at relationships. Neither am I. My ex-wife left me. I lived in my car. I'm barely keeping my head above water most days." He reached up and touched her face. "But when I'm with you, I feel like maybe I'm doing something right." Ava closed her eyes. His hand was warm against her cheek. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Me too. What if I hurt her?" "What if you don't?" She opened her eyes and looked at him. Really looked at him. At the hope and fear and want all mixed together in his expression. "Ethan." He kissed her again, slower this time, softer, like he had all the time in the world. She kissed him back and let herself fall. When they pulled apart, they were both breathing hard. "Stay," he said. "Lily's here." "I know. I'm not asking for... I just mean stay. Have another glass of wine. Talk to me. I don't want you to leave yet." So she stayed. They talked until midnight. About everything and nothing. About Ava's childhood, boarding schools, and absent parents. About Ethan's, a single mom who worked 3 jobs and still couldn't make rent. About the businesses they'd built and lost. About dreams they'd given up and ones they hadn't. "I wanted to change the world," Ethan said at one point. "Sounds stupid, right?" "No, it sounds like you were young." "I still want to, or at least change things for kids like Lily, kids who don't have what they need." "You are changing things." "Not enough, not fast enough." "You can't save everyone." "I know, but I have to try." Ava understood that. The need to do something that mattered. The fear that nothing you did would ever be enough. She reached over and took his hand. He laced his fingers through hers. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Always. Why did you really buy EduPath? The real reason." Ava was quiet for a long time. "Because when you walked out of my office that day, I realized I didn't have anything I'd walk out for. No one I'd choose over a meeting. No one who needed me more than the next deal." She looked at their joined hands. "And I wanted to know what that felt like. To matter to someone." "You matter to Lily." "I know. You matter to me, too." She looked up at him, and the expression on his face made her chest ache. "This is real, isn't it?" she said. "This thing between us." "Yeah, it is." "I don't know what to do with that." You don't have to do anything. Just be here. That's enough. Ava left around 1 in the morning. Ethan walked her down to her car, and they stood on the quiet street, neither wanting to say goodbye. I'll see you tomorrow? He asked. Saturday program? I'll be there. And after, maybe we could do something. The three of us. Like what? I don't know. The museum, the park, whatever Lily wants. Ava smiled. Whatever Lily wants. He kissed her one more time, quick and sweet, and then she got in her car. On the drive home, Ava's phone rang. Monica. It's 1 a.m., Ava answered. I know, I just got home from a thing. Are you okay? You sound weird. I'm fine. You're not fine. What happened? Ava stopped at a red light. I think I'm falling in love. Silence. Monica? Sorry, I just needed a minute to process. You, love, those two concepts in the same sentence. I know. How do you feel about it? Terrified. Good terrified or bad terrified? Ava thought about Lily's sleeping face, about Ethan's hand in hers, about the warm apartment and the cheap wine and the feeling of belonging. Good terrified, she said quietly. Then stop overthinking it and just let yourself be happy. If only it were that simple. The next few weeks were the strangest of Ava's life. She started splitting her time between two worlds, her sleek Manhattan office and Ethan's cramped Brooklyn apartment. Between board meetings and bedtime stories, between corporate acquisitions and Saturday morning coding classes. She wasn't good at the balancing act. She missed a dinner because a meeting ran late. She showed up to the community center still in her work clothes, completely overdressed. She tried to help Lily with homework and realized she'd forgotten most of third-grade math, but she kept showing up. Lily's school had a mother-daughter tea. Ethan mentioned it casually, then quickly added that Ava didn't have to go, that he understood it would be weird. Ava went. She sat in a tiny chair in Lily's classroom, surrounded by actual mothers, drinking punch and eating cookies, and listened to Lily introduce her to all her friends. This is Ava, Lily said proudly. She's my dad's girlfriend. Ava nearly choked on her punch. Later, in the hallway, she pulled Ethan aside. Did you tell her we're dating? No, she figured it out herself. Kids perceptive. And you're okay with that? Her thinking we're together? Aren't we? I don't know. Are we? Ethan looked at her seriously. Ava, I'm falling in love with you. I think I have been since you showed up at that community center, even though you said you didn't do field trips. So yeah, I think we're together, unless you don't want to be. They were standing in an elementary school hallway, surrounded by construction paper art projects and the smell of cafeteria food, and Ava felt her world tilt. I don't know how to do this, she said. You keep saying that, but you're doing it. You're here. You showed up to a mother-daughter tea even though you're not her mother. That's doing it. But what if... Stop. Stop with the what ifs. Just be here. With me. With us. Ava wanted to. She wanted it so badly. But that night, lying alone in her penthouse, she stared at the ceiling and felt panic rising in her chest. This was moving too fast, getting too real. Lily was calling her daddy's girlfriend. Ethan was saying he loved her. People at work were starting to notice she left early on Fridays. Her whole carefully controlled life was unraveling, and she didn't know how to stop it. She didn't know if she wanted to stop it. Monday morning, she was distracted in a meeting with her board. Tuesday, she snapped at her assistant for no reason. Wednesday, she stayed at the office until midnight, avoiding going home to an empty apartment that suddenly felt too quiet. Thursday, Ethan called. You've been distant, he said. I've been busy. Ava, don't do this. Do what? Pull away. I can feel you pulling away. She closed her eyes. I'm not. Yes, you are. What's going on? Nothing. I have a lot of work. Is this about what I said? About falling in love? Yes. No. Because if I came on too strong, I can back off. Ethan, I can't do this right now. I have a meeting in 5 minutes. Silence. Then, okay, call me when you can. She didn't call. Friday, she skipped dinner, sent a text saying she was stuck at work. It was a lie. She was sitting in her office, staring at her computer completely alone. Ethan didn't respond. Saturday morning, Ava woke up feeling sick. Not physically sick, emotionally sick. The kind of sick that comes from knowing you're screwing up something good and doing it anyway. She got dressed and drove to the community center. She'd go. She'd apologize. She'd figure this out. But when she got there, Ethan's expression stopped her cold. He was professional, polite, distant. "Morning," he said. "Morning." They set up the laptops in silence. Lily ran over and hugged Ava like always, and Ava held on a little too tight. "You okay?" Lily asked, pulling back to look at her. "I'm fine, Bug." "You don't look fine." Out of the mouths of children. The program started, and Ava tried to focus on helping kids with their coding projects. But all she could think about was the way Ethan wouldn't look at her. After the program ended, Lily asked if they could get ice cream. "Not today, Bug," Ethan said. "Why not?" "Because I have work to do." "But it's Saturday." "I know. I'm sorry." Lily looked between them, her expression worried. "Did you guys have a fight?" "No," Ava said quickly. "Then why are you being weird?" "We're not being weird." "Yes, you are. You're doing that thing where grown-ups pretend everything is fine, but it's not." Lily crossed her arms. "I'm 7, not stupid," Ethan sighed. "Lily, go wait in the hallway. Ava and I need to talk." "Are you breaking up?" "Lily, are you?" Ava felt like she'd been punched. "Just give us a minute," Ethan said gently. Lily left, her shoes flashing with each angry step. Ethan waited until the door closed, then turned to Ava. "What are we doing?" he asked quietly. "I don't know." "That's not good enough. I have a kid. I can't do this casual thing where we're together when it's convenient and distant when it's hard. Either you're in or you're out. That's not fair. It's completely fair. Lily's already attached to you. If this isn't going anywhere, I need to know now, before she gets hurt." "I'm not trying to hurt anyone." "Then what are you trying to do?" His voice rose slightly. "Because from where I'm standing, it looks like you're running. And I get it. This is scary. It's scary for me too. But I'm not running." "You don't understand." "Then make me understand." Ava looked at him, at the frustration and hurt and hope all tangled together in his expression, and felt something break inside her. "I'm not built for this," she said. "I'm built for boardrooms and spreadsheets and problems I can solve with money. Not for feelings, not for kids, not for relationships. That's bullshit. It's not. Look at my life. I'm 30 years old, and I don't have any friends except the one from college who barely puts up with me. I've never had a relationship last longer than 6 months. My own parents forgot my birthday 3 years in a row. I don't know how to be the person you need. I don't need you to be perfect. I need you to show up. But what if showing up isn't enough? What if I show up and I'm still not good at this? What if Lily needs something I can't give her? What if you need something I can't give you?" Ethan stepped closer. "What if you're exactly what we need and you're just too scared to see it?" Ava felt tears prick her eyes. Don't what?" "Don't make this harder than it already is." "Harder would be walking away from something real because you're afraid." "I'm not afraid." "Yes, you are. You're terrified. And I get it. I was terrified too when I realized I was falling for you, because I knew it meant risking Lily's heart and mine. But I did it anyway because you're worth the risk." The tears spilled over. Ava wiped them away angrily. "I can't do this right now." "When can you do it?" "I don't know." "That's not an answer." "It's the only answer I have." Ethan looked at her for a long moment, and Ava saw the exact second he gave up. "Okay," he said quietly. "Okay. Ethan, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm not chasing you. I'm not convincing you that you're good enough or worthy or whatever it is you think you're not. Either you want this or you don't, and right now it seems like you don't. That's not true. Then prove it. Stop running. Stop making excuses. Just stay." Ava opened her mouth, closed it. She wanted to stay. Wanted to say yes. Wanted to stop being afraid. Wanted to be the person Ethan thought she could be. But the words wouldn't come. Ethan nodded slowly. "That's what I thought." He walked to the door, paused with his hand on the handle. "For what it's worth," he said without turning around, "I think you're wrong. I think you're exactly the person we need. But until you believe that, It doesn't matter what I think. He left. Ava stood alone in the empty classroom surrounded by donated laptops and kids' artwork and finally let herself cry. In the hallway, she heard Lily's voice. "Where's Ava?" "She had to go." "But I wanted to show her my new game." "Not today, Bug." "Is she coming back?" Pause. "I don't know." Ava heard Lily start to cry, and it broke something in her that she didn't know could break. She walked out of the community center, got in her car, and drove home. Her phone rang 6 times. Ethan. She didn't answer. A text came through. "We need to talk about this." She turned off her phone. For 3 days, Ava went through the motions. She went to work. She took meetings. She reviewed contracts. She pretended everything was fine. Monica cornered her on Wednesday. "What happened?" "Nothing." "You look like hell." "Thanks." "Ava, talk to me." "There's nothing to talk about. It didn't work out. That's it." "What didn't work out? The guy you were falling in love with?" Ava's hand started shaking. She set down her coffee cup. "It was too complicated." "Life is complicated. That's not a reason to give up." "You don't understand." "Then explain it to me." Ava looked at her friend, the only person who'd stuck around through all her cold, distant years, and felt something crack. "I don't know how to be what they need," she whispered. "I don't know how to be someone's partner, someone's mother figure. I don't know how to put someone else first, and I'm terrified that if I try, I'll fail. And if I fail, I'll hurt them. And I can't hurt that little girl. I can't." Monica sat down next to her. "So instead you're hurting her by leaving?" The words hit like a slap. That's exactly what you're doing. You're so afraid of failing that you're guaranteeing failure. You're so afraid of hurting them that you're actively hurting them. Monica grabbed her hand. "Ava, I've known you for 12 years. I've watched you build a company from nothing. I've watched you take risks that would terrify most people. And you're telling me you're too scared to try at love. That's different." "How?" "Because if a business fails, I lose money. If this fails, I lose people. And if you don't try, you lose them anyway." Ava pulled her hand away. "You don't get it." "You're right. I don't. Because from where I'm sitting, you have a great guy who loves you and a kid who adores you, and you're throwing it away because you're scared." Monica stood up. "But that's your choice. Just don't pretend it's for their sake. You're doing this for you." She left. Ava sat alone in her office, those words echoing in her head. "You're doing this for you." Was she? Was this really about protecting Lily and Ethan? Or was it about protecting herself? That night, Ava went home to her empty penthouse. She poured a glass of wine she didn't drink. She stood at the window and looked out at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Ethan was probably putting Lily to bed, reading her a story, tucking her in, doing all the things he did every night, but alone now, because Ava had left. She thought about Lily's face the last time she saw her, the confusion, the hurt. She thought about Ethan's voice, either you want this or you don't. She thought about the drawing on her refrigerator, 3 stick figures holding hands, and she realized Monica was right. She wasn't protecting them. She was protecting herself from vulnerability, from failure, from the terrifying possibility that she might actually be happy. Ava walked to her refrigerator and looked at Lily's drawing. Really looked at it. The woman in the picture was smiling, holding hands with a man and a little girl, part of something. That was her. Or it could be, if she was brave enough. Ava picked up her phone. It was 10 p.m., too late to call, too late to show up, too late to fix this tonight. But tomorrow she could try. Tomorrow she could choose something real instead of something safe. Tomorrow she could finally answer the question Ethan had asked. "Do you want this?" Yes. Ava didn't sleep that night. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling, practicing what she'd say. By the time the sun came up, she'd rehearsed a dozen different speeches and hated all of them. At 7 a.m., she gave up trying to find the perfect words and just got dressed. The drive to Sunset Park felt longer than usual. Every red light, every slow driver, every minute that passed made her anxiety spike higher. What if Ethan wouldn't listen? What if she'd waited too long? What if Lily didn't want to see her? She parked outside his building and sat in the car for 10 minutes, hands gripping the steering wheel. You can do this. Just go. She climbed the 3 flights of stairs, her heart pounding harder with each step. She raised her hand to knock, then heard voices inside. I don't want oatmeal. You need to eat something. I want pancakes. We don't have pancakes. Then let's get pancakes. Lily, we can't get pancakes every time you want them. Why not? Ava knocked before she could lose her nerve. The voices stopped. Footsteps approached. The door opened. Ethan stood there in sweatpants and an old t-shirt, his hair sticking up on one side. He looked tired. He looked surprised. Ava? Hi, I know it's early. I should have called. Can we talk? Before he could answer, Lily appeared behind him. Her face lit up. Ava! She tried to run forward, but Ethan caught her shoulder gently. Lily, go finish your breakfast. But now, please. Lily looked between them, her expression falling. Are you mad at each other? No, Bug. We just need to talk. Grown-up talk. I hate grown-up talk, Lily muttered, but she went back to the kitchen. Ethan stepped into the hallway and closed the door behind him. He crossed his arms, waiting. Ava's carefully rehearsed speeches evaporated. I'm sorry, she said. For what specifically? For running. For pulling away. For being scared and letting that fear hurt you and Lily. For... Her voice cracked. For everything. Ethan didn't uncross his arms. Okay. Okay? You're sorry. I heard you. Is that it? No, Ava took a breath. I want this. I want you and Lily. I want dinners and board games and dance recitals. I want to be part of your lives. I'm terrified and I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to try. You said that before. Then you disappeared for 3 days. I know. I called you 6 times, Ava. 6. You didn't answer once. I was scared. Being scared is fine. Shutting me out isn't. He finally looked at her, really looked at her, and his expression was raw. Do you know what it was like trying to explain to Lily why you weren't coming around anymore? Watching her check her phone every 5 minutes to see if you'd texted? She cried herself to sleep 2 nights in a row. Ava felt like she'd been gutted. Ethan, I'm so sorry. I never wanted to hurt her. But you did. And you hurt me too. He rubbed his face. Look, I get that you're scared. I'm scared too. But I can't be in a relationship where every time things get hard, you run. I can't do that to Lily, and I can't do it to myself. I won't run again. How do I know that? You don't. I can't prove it with words. I can only prove it by staying. Ethan was quiet for a long moment. Why now? He asked finally. What changed? I realized I was more afraid of losing you than I was of failing. And I realized that walking away guaranteed failure. At least if I stay and try, there's a chance. A chance of what? Of being happy. Of being part of something that matters. Of being the person Lily drew in that picture on my refrigerator. Something in his expression softened slightly. You still have that? It's the only thing on my refrigerator. Ethan sighed and leaned against the wall. He looked exhausted. I want to believe you, he said quietly. I really do. But I've been here before. My ex-wife promised she wanted to be a mother, wanted to be part of a family. Then she left. And I can't let Lily go through that again. She's already been abandoned by one person who was supposed to love her. I'm not your ex-wife. I know, but you left too. The words hung between them. You're right, Ava said. I did leave, and I can't take that back. All I can do is promise that I won't leave again. And I know that's not enough right now. I know you need more than promises. So I'll prove it, however long it takes. How? By showing up every day, even when it's hard, even when I'm scared, I'll show up. Ethan looked at her for a long time. I need to think about this, he said finally. Okay. And I need to talk to Lily. She gets a say in this too. I understand. He nodded and turned to go back inside. Ethan? He paused. I love you, Ava said. I should have said it before. I should have said it when you did. But I'm saying it now. I love you, and I love Lily, and I know I screwed up, but I want the chance to make it right. Ethan's hand tightened on the doorknob. I'll call you, he said, and went inside. Ava stood in the hallway for a full minute after the door closed, trying to breathe normally. Then she walked back down the stairs, got in her car, and drove home. 3 days passed. Ethan didn't call. Ava went to work, but she couldn't focus. She sat in meetings and heard nothing. She reviewed contracts and retained nothing. Her assistant asked if she was feeling okay. I'm fine, Ava lied. On the 4th day, Monica showed up at her office. You look terrible. Thanks. Did you talk to him? Yes. And? And he needs time to think about it. Monica sat down across from her. What are you going to do? Wait, what else can I do? You could fight for him. I did fight for him. I showed up. I apologized. I told him I love him. Now it's his decision. And if he says no? Ava had been trying not to think about that. Then I'll have to live with it. That's very mature of you. Don't sound so surprised. Monica smiled slightly. I'm proud of you, you know, for trying. I haven't won him back yet. No, but you tried. That's more than you've ever done before. After Monica left, Ava sat at her desk and stared at her phone. No calls. No texts. She opened her photos and scrolled to the picture of Lily's drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands. Her phone rang. Unknown number. She answered. Hello? Ms. Reynolds? This is Mrs. Morrison, Lily's teacher. Ava's heart jumped into her throat. Is Lily okay? She's fine. Well, physically. But she's been very upset this week. Withdrawn. Not participating in class. I called her father, but he said there were some personal issues at home. I see. Lily mentioned you in class a few weeks ago. Said you were helping her with coding projects. I was wondering if you might know what's going on. Ava closed her eyes. It's complicated. I understand. I just wanted to reach out. Lily's a special kid. It's hard to see her hurting. Thank you for calling. After she hung up, Ava sat in her office and made a decision. She couldn't make Ethan take her back, but she could show Lily that she hadn't forgotten about her. Ava left work early and drove to a bookstore. She found a book on advanced coding for kids and had them gift wrap it. Then she drove to Sunset Park. She didn't go up to the apartment. Instead, she left the package with the building's super, along with a note. Lily, I'm sorry I've been away. I miss you. This book reminded me of you. Keep asking questions. Keep being curious. You're going to do amazing things. Love, Ava. She drove home and tried not to think about whether Lily would even want to open it. 2 more days passed. Still nothing from Ethan. Ava was starting to accept that maybe she'd burned this bridge beyond repair. Maybe some mistakes were too big to forgive. Saturday morning, she woke up at 6 out of habit. For the first time in months, she had nowhere to be. No community center, no coding class, no terrible coffee, and no bright-eyed 7-year-old to make her laugh. She made coffee and sat alone in her kitchen. Her phone buzzed, a text from a number she didn't recognize. Thank you for the book. I read 3 chapters already. The code examples are really good. I miss you. Lily. Ava stared at the message. Lily had somehow gotten her number, or Ethan had given it to her. She typed back, I miss you too, Bug. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. Are you and Daddy still mad at each other? Ava's throat tightened. We're not mad. It's complicated. That's what grown-ups always say. Sometimes it's true. Can you fix it? Ava typed and deleted 3 different responses. I'm trying. The dots appeared for a long time. Then, Daddy's making pancakes. He only makes pancakes when he's sad. Can you come over and make him not sad? Ava's hands were shaking. I don't think your dad wants to see me right now. Yes, he does. He's just being stubborn. Please come. Before Ava could respond, another text came through. From Ethan this time. Sorry, Lily stole my phone. You don't have to come. But you can if you want to. The pancakes are already made. There's enough. Ava was in her car before she even made a conscious decision to go. She drove to Brooklyn going exactly the speed limit, even though every instinct told her to floor it. She climbed the 3 flights of stairs. She raised her hand to knock. The door opened before she could. Ethan stood there, still in his pajamas, holding a spatula. Hi, he said. Hi. Lily's very manipulative. She gets it from you. I don't manipulate people. You left the door unlocked. You knew I'd come. A smile tugged at his mouth. Maybe. They stood there in the doorway, neither moving. I'm still scared, Ava said. I'm probably going to mess up again. I'm probably going to choose wrong sometimes. But I want this. I want you and Lily, and I'll keep choosing you every day if you'll let me. Ethan set down the spatula. Come inside, he said. Ava stepped over the threshold. Lily came running from her room and slammed into Ava with a hug so fierce it nearly knocked her over. You came! You asked me to. I know, but grown-ups don't always do what kids ask. Some do. Lily pulled back and looked up at her. Are you staying this time? Ava glanced at Ethan. He was watching them, his expression unreadable. If your dad says it's okay. Lily spun around. Daddy? Can she stay? Lily, it's not that simple. Why not? Because Ava and I need to talk about some things. You can talk after pancakes. Bug, please, I want Ava to stay for pancakes. Then you can do your boring grown-up talk. Ethan looked at Ava. She shrugged slightly. Pancakes first, he said. Then we talk. They sat at the small kitchen table, the three of them, eating pancakes that were slightly burned on the edges. Lily talked nonstop about the coding book, about school, about the new game she was building. Ava watched Ethan when Lily wasn't looking. He was tired, guarded, but he was here. He'd let her in. That meant something. After breakfast, Lily went to her room to work on her game. Ethan and Ava did the dishes in silence. She really missed you, Ethan said finally. I missed her too. She cried when we got your note, happy tears. I'm sorry I hurt her. I know. He dried a plate and set it in the cabinet. I'm sorry too for shutting you out. You had every right. Maybe, but it didn't help anything. He turned to face her. I talked to Lily about you, about us, about what it would mean if you were part of our lives. Ava's heart was racing. What did she say? She said she wants you to be her mom. Ava gripped the edge of the sink. Ethan, I told her it's more complicated than that being a mom is a big responsibility, that it means being there even when it's hard. He paused. She said you already do that. She's 7. She doesn't understand. She understands more than you think. She knows you showed up to her science fair. She knows you stayed for her dance recital, even though she messed up. She knows you help her with her coding even when you're tired. She knows what matters. Ava felt tears building. What do you want? She asked quietly. Ethan stepped closer. I want what I've wanted since the first time you showed up at that community center. I want you in our lives. I want to wake up next to you. I want to argue about whether Lily can have ice cream for dinner. I want to build something real with you. Even though I'll probably screw it up sometimes. Everyone screws up sometimes. The difference is whether you stay and fix it or run away. He took her hand. You came back. You apologized. You're here. That tells me everything I need to know. I love you, Ava said. I know I already said it, but I need you to know I mean it. I love you, and I love Lily, and I want this more than I've ever wanted anything. I love you too. I have for a while now. He kissed her, and it felt like coming home. They pulled apart when Lily yelled from her room. Are you guys kissing? Because that's gross, but also I'm happy about it. Ethan laughed. We have no privacy in this house. I don't mind. You say that now. They walked to Lily's room. She was sitting at her desk, coding on her laptop, but she spun around when they came in. So? She asked. So what? Ethan said. So is Ava staying for real this time? Ethan looked at Ava. She nodded. Yeah, Bug, she's staying. Lily jumped up and hugged both of them. This is the best day ever. You said that last week when we got ice cream, Ethan pointed out. That was also the best day ever. I can have multiple best days. Fair point. They spent the rest of the day together. Lily showed Ava her new game. Ethan made lunch, sandwiches that were only slightly better than his spaghetti. They went to the park and Lily ran around until she was exhausted. That evening, they ordered pizza and watched a movie on Ethan's ancient couch. Lily fell asleep halfway through, her head in Ava's lap. Ava looked down at the sleeping child and felt her heart expand. I think she's out, Ethan whispered. Should we move her? In a minute. She looks comfortable. They sat in the dim light of the TV, Lily sleeping between them, and Ava realized this was what happiness felt like. Not the rush of closing a deal, not the satisfaction of building an empire. This, just this. I need to tell you something, she said quietly. Okay. I'm going to mess this up sometimes. I'm going to work too late. I'm going to forget things. I'm going to have days where I don't know what I'm doing. I know. And you're okay with that? Ava, I'm a single dad who served his kid spaghetti from a jar for dinner 3 times last week. I'm not expecting perfection. I'm just expecting you to try. I will. Every day. That's all I need. After they put Lily to bed, Ethan made tea and they sat on the couch. So what happens now? Ava asked. What do you mean? Do I move in? Do we take it slow? What's the plan? I don't know. What do you want? Ava thought about it. About her pristine penthouse that had never felt like home. About this cramped apartment that somehow did. I want to be here. As much as possible. But maybe we take it slow? I keep my apartment for now, but I stay here on weekends? Work up to more? That sounds reasonable. Really? Because I have no idea what I'm doing. Nobody does. We're all just making it up as we go. That's terrifying. Welcome to parenthood, Ava laughed. I'm not a parent. Not officially, but you're part of Lily's life now. That comes with responsibilities. Like what? Like helping with homework and sitting through terrible school plays and explaining why she can't have a pet python. She wants a python. This week. Last week it was a ferret. What are you going to tell her? Probably the same thing I tell her every week. We'll see. Which means no. Ava leaned against him, and he put his arm around her. Thank you, she said. For what? For giving me another chance. For letting me be part of this. For not giving up on me even when I gave you every reason to. You're worth it, he said simply. They sat in comfortable silence, and Ava felt the last piece of fear fall away. She wasn't perfect. She'd make mistakes. But she was here, and that was enough. The next few months were the strangest and best of Ava's life. She split her time between Manhattan and Brooklyn, between boardrooms and playgrounds. She learned to cook, badly, but Ethan said it was the effort that counted. She helped Lily with homework and science projects. She went to parent-teacher conferences and tried not to feel like an imposter. She was there when Lily won first place at the regional science fair. She was there when Lily's coding game got selected for a school showcase. She was there for dance recitals and birthday parties and ordinary Tuesday evenings when nothing special happened at all. Work changed, too. Ava started delegating more. She left the office at reasonable hours. She turned down deals that would have meant too much travel. Her board noticed. A few investors grumbled. Ava didn't care. EduPath grew. With Ava's business expertise and Ethan's vision, they expanded to 15 cities. They developed new programs. They hired more staff. They started making enough money to be sustainable. One evening, 6 months after Ava had shown up at Ethan's door with pancakes, they were all sitting in the apartment. Lily was doing homework at the kitchen table. Ethan was cooking dinner. Ava was reviewing contracts on the couch. It was ordinary, domestic, perfect. Ava? Lily called from the table. Yeah, Bug? Can you help me with this math problem? Ava set aside her laptop and went to the table. The problem was basic algebra, but Lily was stuck. They worked through it together, and when Lily finally got it, she grinned. Thanks, Mom. Ava froze. Lily's eyes went wide. Sorry, I didn't mean... It's okay, Ava said quickly. You can call me that, if you want to. Really? Really? Lily hugged her so hard Ava almost fell off her chair. From the kitchen, Ethan was smiling. That night, after Lily went to bed, Ethan and Ava sat on the couch. She called you Mom, he said. I noticed. How do you feel about that? Ava thought about it, about the word that used to terrify her, about what it meant now. Good, she said. Terrified, but good. That's pretty much parenting in a nutshell. Does it get easier? No idea, but we'll figure it out together. He kissed her, and Ava felt the last piece of her old life fall away. The life where she was alone and in control and successful but empty. Where she had everything except what mattered. This was what mattered. This couch, and this man, and this life they were building together. A year after Ava had first walked into Ethan's office with her terrible pitch, they were back at the community center. The Saturday coding program had expanded. Now they had 50 kids every week. Lily, almost 9 now, was helping teach the younger kids. She moved between tables with the confidence of someone who knew exactly what she was doing. "She's good at this," Ethan said, watching his daughter. "She gets it from you. She gets it from both of us." Ava smiled. Both of us. Like they were a team. A family. After the program ended, they went to the diner, same one they'd been going to for over a year now. The waitress knew their order before they sat down. "The usual?" she asked. "Please," Ethan said. Lily was telling them about a coding competition her school was entering when Ava's phone buzzed. She glanced at it, expecting work, but it was Monica. "Drinks tonight? I want to hear about the domestic life." Ava typed back, "Can't. Family dinner." The response was immediate. "Look at you with your family dinner. I'm proud." Ava smiled and put her phone away. "Everything okay?" Ethan asked. "More than okay." After dinner, they walked back to the apartment. Lily ran ahead, her light-up shoes flashing in the evening light. "I need to ask you something," Ethan said. "Okay." He stopped walking, reached into his pocket, pulled out a small box. Ava's heart stopped. "Ethan, before you panic, this isn't an engagement ring." "It's not?" "Well, it is, but not yet. I mean," he laughed nervously. "Let me start over." He opened the box. Inside was a simple silver ring. "This is a promise ring," he said. "A promise that someday, when you're ready, I'm going to ask you to marry me. And a promise that I'll wait until you are ready. No pressure, no timeline. Just a promise." Ava looked at the ring, then at Ethan, then at Lily, watching them from up ahead with poorly concealed excitement. "You planned this," Ava said. Lily helped. "I can't keep a secret," Lily yelled. "Clearly," Ethan muttered. Ava took the ring from the box and slid it onto her finger. It fit perfectly. "I'm ready," she said. "For the promise ring?" "For the real question." Ethan's eyes widened. "Ava, ask me. Are you sure?" "I've never been more sure of anything." Ethan looked at Lily. "Should I?" "Yes!" Lily jumped up and down. "Ask her! Ask her!" Ethan got down on one knee, right there on the Brooklyn sidewalk, and Ava felt tears streaming down her face. "Ava Reynolds, will you marry me?" "Yes." Lily screamed and ran over, hugging both of them. A few people walking by stopped and clapped. Ava laughed through her tears and held on to the two people who had somehow become her entire world. 6 months later, they got married. Not a big wedding, just close friends and family in a small ceremony at the community center where they'd first really gotten to know each other. Lily was the flower girl and the ring bearer and the most excited person in the room. Monica was there, crying through the entire ceremony. "I never thought I'd see the day," she said afterward. "Me neither," Ava admitted. "You're happy." It wasn't a question. "I'm happy," Ava confirmed. They sold Ava's penthouse and bought a bigger place in Brooklyn. Still not huge, but enough room for all of them. Lily got her own room with a real desk for her coding projects. Ethan got an actual kitchen where he could practice cooking without setting off the smoke alarm every week. Ava kept working, but differently now. She brought Lily to the office sometimes. She made time for family dinners. She said no to deals that would have taken her away for too long. EduPath continued to grow. They reached 100,000 kids, then 200,000. They hired Ethan's former developer back. They opened an office on the West Coast. And through it all, Ava showed up. Every day. Even when it was hard. Even when she was tired. Even when she didn't know what she was doing, she showed up. One evening, 3 years after that first dinner of burned pancakes, Ava was helping Lily with a coding project. Lily was 12 now, already past most of what Ava could teach her, but they still worked together sometimes. "Mom?" Lily said, not looking up from her screen. "Yeah? Do you ever regret it?" "Regret what?" "Giving up your old life." The fancy apartment and the big deals and all that. For us? Ava set down her laptop and looked at her daughter, because that's what Lily was now, legally, and in every way that mattered. I didn't give anything up, she said. I traded one life for a better one. But you had so much. I had money. I had success. I had an empty apartment and no one to come home to. Now I have you and your dad and Sunday pancakes and terrible board games. I have a family. That's not a trade. That's winning. Lily looked at her seriously. You mean that? Every word. Good, because we're keeping you. I should hope so. I signed a contract. Marriage isn't a contract. Your dad would disagree. He made me sign like 6 things. Lily laughed, and Ava pulled her into a hug. Later that night, after Lily went to bed, Ava and Ethan sat on their back porch. It was small, barely big enough for 2 chairs, but it was theirs. Lily asked me if I regretted this, Ava said. What did you tell her? The truth. That this is the best decision I ever made. Ethan took her hand. No regrets? Not a single one. You? Just one. Ava's heart skipped. What? That I didn't meet you sooner. She laughed and leaned against him. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the Brooklyn sky fade from blue to purple to black. Somewhere inside, Lily was probably still awake, reading under her covers with a flashlight. Tomorrow there would be work and school and 100 small decisions to make. But tonight there was this, the quiet evening, the man she loved, the daughter who called her mom, the life they'd built together from terrible coffee and second chances. Ava thought about this woman she'd been 3 years ago, alone in her penthouse, successful and empty, terrified of failure and risk and anything she couldn't control. That woman wouldn't recognize her life now, the mess, the noise, the chaos of loving people who needed things from her that couldn't be solved with money or business acumen. That woman would probably think she'd lost her mind. And maybe she had. Maybe falling in love with a broke single father and his brilliant daughter wasn't the smart business decision. But it was the decision that saved her. Not from failure, not from loneliness, from the slow, quiet death of never letting anyone in. What are you thinking about? Ethan asked. That I love you, that I love our life, that I'm grateful every day that you walked into my office. I'm grateful you didn't throw me out. I almost did. I know, but you didn't. And look where we are now. Ava looked at their house, at the warm light spilling from the windows, at the life they'd built together. Yeah, she said softly. Look where we are now. Inside, they could hear Lily laughing at something on her computer. The sound echoed through the house, filling every empty space with joy. And Ava realized that this messy, imperfect, beautiful life was everything she'd been searching for without knowing it. She'd spent 30 years building an empire, and in the end, what saved her wasn't the money or the power or the success. It was a 7-year-old girl with light-up shoes and too many questions, and her father who believed impossible things were worth fighting for. They'd given her a family, a home, a reason to be something more than successful. They'd given her love. And in choosing them, in finally, terrifyingly, choosing something real over something safe, Ava had found the one thing money couldn't buy and business couldn't build. She'd found herself. The version of herself that mattered. Not the CEO, not the deal maker, not the woman who controlled everything and felt nothing. Just Ava. Wife, mother, partner, friend. Just a woman who'd learned that the greatest risk wasn't failure. It was never trying at all. And as she sat there on that small porch with the man she loved and the daughter she'd chosen and who'd chosen her, Ava Reynolds finally understood what it meant to have everything. Not because she'd earned it or bought it or built it, but because she'd been brave enough to reach for it when it was offered, and then brave enough to hold on.